a societal matter. We engage the parents, we engage all the stakeholders. And then we also make sure that the minister, and then whoever occupies the education space in the classroom up to the district office fits the purpose. We don't make appointments for the sake of gratifying, of making people happy. We look at someone must be fit for the purpose. I must thank our unions for the support in understanding that, and then when we make appointments, it is a very serious business because it is about the future of our children. And then thank you very much. And then looking at our primary school and then performance, yes, if you juxtapose and then 2021 and 2022, and then you can see that, and then in the foundation phase, Minister, we are not where we're supposed to be, and then at 100%. We are not where we're supposed to be, and then but when you look at our grade 5 and grade 6, and then we had a slight decline, but when you look at our performance, we are a primary school sector on the rise, Minister. I just want to single out grade 7 MEC. When you look at grade 7 in 2021, as a district, we are at 90%. And then last year, 2022, the class of 2022 gave us 90.7. What can you ascribe that to? You know, 3 years ago, the MEC started a project which we embrace and run with it as a district to say, you need to ready the grade 7s. You need to ready them for secondary school. The culture minister of primary school, the transition from primary school to secondary school, we have noticed that, and then when learners get to secondary school, they get the culture shock, and then there's discipline issues, and then which at the end of the day impact on their performance. But after that, from 2019, having road shows led by the MEC, and we had to run with it, making sure that every grade 7 learner and then his requirement is made aware of what is expected at secondary school. You can see that, and then our grade 7 in 2022 at 90.7, which is a 0.7 and an improvement. When you look at this 90.7, remember in the exit grade for secondary schools, which is grade 12, as a district minister, we are at 90.8. In grade 7, which is the exit grade for primary schools, we are at 90.7 and an MEC. You can see that that strategy under very difficult circumstances and an MEC, where we have got learners coming from households where there's no one working, and then where at times there are no meals, where there is got weekend classes, got extra classes, and then juxtaposing again the 2 years, 2021, 2022, you can see on top there, and then in grade 8, you know, what we need to notice, a minister, and then which we were made aware of by the leadership of the province. These learners, Captain Sibitwan, in grade 7, minister, they are performing at 90%, grade 7. 2021, 90%. 2022, 90.7. But all of a sudden, they drop to the 70s. In both years, 2021 and 2022. What is happening? Therefore, that's why we need to strengthen as a district. We need to strengthen the support for grade 8 so that, and then they should get used to the culture of doing things at secondary schools. Look at grade 9. All of a sudden, Minister, these learners who are performing at 70s, they now jump to the 80s and 90s. 2021, 84.6, and then last year, 90.1, going back to the 90s in grade 9. Our Achilles heel, you know, I had to look at the performance of all the 74 districts MEC, and then in the country to say, is this phenomenon unique to Motheo? Perhaps there may be something we are missing as a district. But I noticed, Minister, that and in grade 10, it is a slaughterhouse. We need to do something as a district. We need to make sure that, and then we listen to the advices as given by the leadership on how to turn, and then the grade 12 performance, the grade 10 performance around. 2021, 66%, all of a sudden. And then last year, it's 72. And then going to grade 11, and then when you look at grade 11, there is that increase to be in the 80s, 85 in 2021 and 87.2, and then last year in grade 11. But now, another issue which we zoomed into, it is the throughput rate MEC, it is the learner dropout. We noticed that as a district, we still have got to work very hard in ensuring that the success rate and then at grade 10 is improved, and then we also make sure that we retain and then the majority of our learners, because we are wary of the implementation of the inclusive basket. We are already, it's one of our priorities this year to make sure that we focus on the performance in grade 10 and then the throughput in grade 10. Because you can see in grade 11, and then they are improving their performance. Looking at the exit grade now, Minister, we know that when you talk about Provincial Secretary of SADU, Ntate, when the minister announces the grade 12 results in Ntate, the country comes to a standstill. Everyone is an expert on education. Thank you very much, MEC, for teaching us to know that with education, it is a shared space. Everyone is an expert. You just need to know, and then that you need to stick to what, and then you have said yourselves, you need to set the regulation. When you look at ABC, when you planted this seed, it was in 2015, it was the most, Minister, I want to whisper, the NBC doesn't hear. 2016 was the most difficult year for this district. It was after the district pulled down, because our district is very big in the province. When we do well, we push up the province. When we drop, we pull down the province. 2015, and then when this DMT started, and then MEC put this DMT together, single-handedly, put them together and say, you need to make sure that this district is going to be performed in line with the target we have set. It was a very tough year. He did not want to take any explanation, any excuse. But looking back at that year, MEC, we thank you for your tough leadership. We thank you for your tough love. Can we give it to the MEC? Because PS, we had to improve by almost 11%. The rest is history. Look at the performance, look at the bachelors. Minister, when you look at 2019, we were at 87.9, 41% bachelors. You know, the districts, Minister, as Motheo Education District, we are a product. We are a product of lessons from the 4 other districts. We are a product of the lessons we learn through your meetings with the district directors, the 75 district directors on quarterly basis. When we go there, I've got the responsibility as a district director. 2 days after coming from your meetings, I must give the report back. The lessons learned, where we are doing well, where we need to strengthen our quality, our compliance, and our performance as a district director. Those meetings, Minister, are very powerful. We are a product of lessons from those meetings. We are a product of what we call in the province, the provincial, the PSL reviews on quarterly basis of the MEC, where the 5 districts come together. We give our quarterly report cards. We learn from Thabo Mofutsenyane how to deal with big numbers, how to perform consistently. We have learned from Fezile Dabi how to ensure that, and then we are singling out strategic issues which are contributing to performance. We have learned from Lijo Liputswa, and then in terms of how to share, how to collaborate between the circuit managers and subject advisors. We have learned from our district Harib, and then how to deal with the small numbers. Because if you ignore the small numbers, they add up, they accumulate, they can hurt you. We are a product of learning from all the 74 districts in the country, Minister. Then we are a product of the MEC. When things are not right, and then we always call our trump card. When things don't add up, when communities are rising, when SGBs perhaps are not, cooperative, and then when we are deadlocking with unions, and then when the center doesn't hold, the MEC knows that there are those late evening calls, there are those early morning calls to the MEC, and then at times he will say, Moloi. I know when he calls me Moloi, things are okay, ne? Things are okay. But once he calls me December, you are angry. Don't make a decision. Don't make a decision. Call me tomorrow. Thank you very much, MEC, for that. And then the HOD, the same. And then my boss knows in Datemkhobo, when I'm calling him, when I'm saying, this one can't work in Datemkhobo, and then he will call me Loi. When he sees that I don't listen, he'll say, man. As a district, we are not a finished product. We are not a finished, there's still room for improvement. We must still listen, we must still be humbled and work even harder. It is the class of 2022 which has made all this possible. And thank you very much, Minister, for honoring the class of 2022. Thank you very much, Minister, for honoring Team Motheo, Team Fantastic, Team Fabulous for their hard work. Quickly just looking at our circuits, and then Minister, all our circuits, none of our 12 circuits, we have got a circuit where we had to cheat the MEC. The MEC has gazetted 12 circuits, but learning from one of our districts, we noticed that we need to focus on special schools and independent schools as an entity. And then we had a home brew, a homemade, and then circuit. Then the MEC is not official. And then when you look at the categories of performance of our schools, and then Minister, I think the MEC will be happy with this one. Yeah? He's a very hard person to please because of his high standards. Our goals category, MEC, and then you can see from 2020, 2021, 15, 2022, we've got 17 of our schools. Out of the 17 schools, MEC, Minister, 6 of them are township schools. 6 of them are township, which is 35.2 township schools. Minister, they are enjoying your NSNP, the only meal they have at school. MEC, you transport them. MEC, you interact with their parents to make sure that there is stability between the home and the school. That's correlation. These schools are coming to the party, they are raising their hand. Then when you look at the silver schools again, it is also another good story, and then to tell with an ample room for improvement. From 2020, and then 2021, 22 schools, and then last year, 34 of our schools between 99.9% and 90%. MEC, 2 of our principals, Minister, 1 learner failed, and the 2 schools got 99.9%. When the principal called me, the 2 principal cracked, literally cried, because they felt that they have let 1 person down. And that person is their trump card. That person is someone who goes out to the private sector, Minister, to get support. Is one person who goes to the gangsters to talk to them. There's one person who goes to the police, social development, and then to talk about how education should be supported in the Free State, in the rural areas, and then in our township. And that person is none other than Mr. Simply the Best. Yes. Thank you. The bronze schools, and then we have got 21 of them. And then why? Minister, why are we rising? Are we a system on the rise? You can see it is because we are ably led. I have said, when the minister is here, we record her, we document what she's saying. You can see there, she was at in the district, and then with the MEC. You can see at times we call our trump card to address the learners. Minister, we have got one MEC who addresses learners, who addresses parents alone. At times he doesn't even go with the HOD, with the strategic leadership, hands-on. You can see there, he was addressing learners. It was not an easy meeting because there was a delay. As a district, we delay and then to pay the schools, and then the learners were saying, we want the MEC. They say, Moloi, we don't want to listen to you. We had to call the MEC. The MEC did not say, I'm the executive authority. Within 15 minutes, he was there. Another good story to tell. Minister, we want to do away with underperformance in the district. This year we have made a commitment. There is this village called Underperformance Village, Underperformance. The schools have said today, Ntatemolo, you must close this village called Underperforming Schools. Close it, put it for sale, throw the key in the sea. Because when you look at our trend, in 2019, we had 28 underperforming schools. The COVID year, 2020, when we were in the top 10, and then we had 31. And then 2021, we reduced them by 10. By 10. We reduced them by 10. It is because of your support. You know, the long hours in the demo hall with the HOD, and then the 7 to 12 meetings, we made sure that they were reduced by 10. Last year, we reduced them MEC and then by 8, from 21 to 13. We only have got now from 31 and then 13 underperforming schools. Hence, we are saying we are not a finished product. There is room for improvement. Yes. And then the performance of our municipalities, again, in the interest of time, you can see MEC Reswerim Kombandlela. Minister, the MEC gave us one strategy. One strategy. To say you can't be all over the place. You must size up your workload and focus critical mass. And that we focus on Mangaung. Very difficult. Then we focus on Botshabelo with its social ills. When you look at Mangaung there, this year in Mangaung, MEC is 90%. And as a district, we always, province usually performs in line with Motheo because of the numbers we have. Then Mansopa, and then it is the areas around Lady Brent and others at 90%. And the former lady, you know, next to Lesotho, and then on the western side, and then 87%. We need to focus really to make sure that, and then we are in line with the target which we have set. When you also look at the bachelors, you can see that as a district also minister, when you look at Mangaung, we are almost at 50%, 49.5. Look at Mangaung. Mangaung is at 50%, and then the top one. And then which is an improvement of 3.5%. But look at former lady. In terms of bachelors, there is an improvement of 5.2. Very difficult area, and then most of the learners are undocumented, minister. They are coming from Lesotho, they are coming from all over the country. But we have got one MEC who says, Those learners, whether they are documented or what, you need to find a way of ensuring that you are supporting them. MEC, we have really ensured that we support them because it was our weakest cluster. And then that is why, at least now, it is at 43.1 and 87.5%. Looking at our very important cluster, Minister, we have got this THABA. CDT is also that school for 3 consecutive years. It has just been churning 100%, 100%, 100%. We are very proud. Yes. Unicom, and then is an agricultural school. MEC, your support there, also assisting us. It is a school with a potential for 100%, is above 90%. And Mariasda, former church school, the MEC, and then has facilitated a collaboration and cooperation with the church. MEC, that school, and then where you said, when that school was at 95.5, that school was underperforming. MEC, that school responded positively to your clarion call. They gave us 100%. It's another project school. Right, and then we have also given our top schools per second. That I think, and then let me just skip that one. But I think the most important one, when we look at Seget, let's look at Seget 2. Which is Mangaung, Minister. This school, Kopanon, is in the heart of gangsterism. It was 2 years ago, the MEC had to go to that school with Ndatemo Hobo to deal with an issue of a learner who was killed at the gate of the school. The MEC intervened, his intervention program has stabilized that school. That school is your maths and science minister at 99.3. If that school, drawing learners from impoverished areas, gang-infested areas, can give us 99.3%, a school with all the facilities, with all the support, can't give us 100%, is an underperformance. It's unacceptable, because if you compare it with the circumstances of this school. When you look at this school again, now Seget 6, right in the heart of Botshabelo, and then MEC Sichabasima is reclaiming its glory at Seget 6, 93.1. Moving all the way, remember at one stage the school dropped to 81, but now they are in the 90s. The principal has promised that come end of this year is going to be in 100%. And then another school, look, Ramuhage, another good story to the minister. These schools are in Botshabelo, right in Botshabelo, Minister, where about 90% of the parents are being bussed out of Botshabelo to Bloemfontein. Early in the morning at 4 and 5 o'clock, they leave the learners still asleep. Learners at times tell parents that they have been to school, whereas they have not there. Parents come back home around 7, around 8 o'clock. That is why there is a clear support strategy being driven from the office of the MEC for Botshabelo because of the social issues. And then MEC Ramohetsi is at 100% from 96. It's an article. It's a music and art school minister. Yes. Another school here. Another school, TMC Tilwane, 100%. Sitilwane, CDT, I've spoken about CDT, Maria's Dal. And then that's why we are saying we are doing very well. The township schools are claiming their rightful spaces. The top maths and science school, the top maths and science school minister in the Free State comes from yours truly district. The number 1 school. Yes. And then the number 2 comes from us. There's that school there, Tsuseleto, in Mangaung. It's at number 7. And then in the province. When you look at our schools, out of so many schools, Captain Sibitwan, and then we don't have a school Ms. Honke, which is lower than 21, number 21, and then in the province. But there is room for improvement. There's room for improvement. Look at also at the subjects, and then we've got a fabulous team of math subject advisors, math teachers. They just gave us the number one spot. And then math lead. And then when you look at the number ones there, and then you can see that but there is still room for improvement. There are subjects where we are really not doing well. Colleagues, especially as a top district in the country, we need to up our game. We can't be, when you look at that order of merits, we should be 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. We should not be number 4. We should not be number 4. We should not be number 4. When you look at those number 4s there, and then it is that room for improvement which I'm talking about. It is that room where we are calling for leadership. And then we can go on. And then I think drifting towards to learning outcomes and support. And then we are the recipients. You can see the trophies, the signature of the minister. The minister said, Motheo, when it comes to primary schools, you are number 1. And then when it comes to outstanding achievement in 3 years, 2019 up to 2021, and then we are the recipient of the Minister's Award. Minister, we recorded you. We always play, and then your speech selectively, where you were saying, when you announced that last one, you said, Motheo, when we got a call from the DG to say we've got 2 learners who are in the minister's top 24, we said, yeah, perhaps we are trying very hard to be solid, as the minister said. Perhaps we are trying very hard to be great. We contributed 2 of those learners coming from one school in the township. These are learners not coming from ex-Model C. These 2 learners, minister, come from Comtech Secondary School, right in the heartland of Mangaung. Those 2 learners. Yes, when we are saying we are rising to greatness, it is not only, it is everything which we do. Music, social issues. And then when it comes to the National Teachers Awards, the MEC had 13 categories. Out of these 13 categories, and then this fantastic team, Team Fabulous, took 8 of them. Take 8 of them. At National Minister, and then we have got 3 national winners. You had to call them to the stage, representing Team Fabulous, Team Motheo. And then this week, Minister, when the MEC was announcing in October the National School Nutrition Program, schools, it was one of our farm schools, Helixvard. And then the district, yours truly. And then when it comes to national, Wednesday, we received a call from the deputy minister. And then all costs, because I said the team must go, I should not go there as the 7th. The deputy minister said, I think he's here. We are learning from our sister district and also our other districts in the country. It is to how to deal with low enrollment subjects. We are still at 99%. We're supposed to be clopping straight at 100%, Minister. Minister, we are not a finished product. Our war cry for 2023, we want to consolidate this achievement. We want to improve on this achievement. We want to redefine ourselves as the district on the rise to greatness. Our target for this year, very straight, as pronounced by the MEC. Minister, we still want to retain the position 1 in the province and the country. But let me hasten to indicate that we don't have any entitlement. As a district, we are driven by one of our values of being honest, of reality. We know that the other 74 districts are also working very hard. We are where we are today because we have learned from the other district minister through the forums we've created, through the forums the MEC has created. We don't have any entitlement, MEC. We know we are going to celebrate the other districts when they do better than us. We are going to look where our gaps are, where our us, we are still very humble. We are still calling for leadership. We are still calling for support. Minister, please, if you can come to Motheo again, and then at least 3 times this year, because we want to retain number 1. MEC, please respond to the late night. The Demokhobo, please respond to the early morning calls, because we wanted. And then our union leaders, please respond to our calls. We want to retain it. But realistically, we know that it may not be possible. We're going to accept it. And then we want to be at 95.50, and then this year, we want all our circuits to be at 95.50. And then, Minister, we want to improve on the 2 learners. We want to, when you are making the calls, we want you to call 5 learners from Motheo to your top learners. Yes, that's our commitment. And then we want to make sure that if things don't go our way, MEC, Captain, we want to do away with underperformance. But if things don't go our way, we want at least to remain with 5 schools. And we want to increase our 100% schools. And then yes, we don't have any entitlement. We are just calling for support. Calling support, it means being tough leadership, MEC, Minister. Where we go astray, we need to be whipped into line. We need to stay in our line. We need to improve on our quality. We need to improve on our compliance. We need to improve on our performance. If we can do that, and then with the support of everyone, we will be the district to be. Think perhaps in closing, Minister, the space where you have put us as Team Motheo is not an easy space. It's a shared space. Other people seem to know and have more opinions about education more than us. At times, we become disillusioned. At times, we become demotivated. That is why we call for support of our leadership. That is why at times, MEC, the Demokhobo, you will receive those late night calls. You will receive those early morning calls, MEC. It is because of the space. But it could not have been possible had it not been of the support we also get from our families. At times people say, give me all names, Mr. Everready, I'm giving all the names, Minister. The reason for that? It is because of someone I retire to every evening. When I'm an emotional wreck at times, I go to my Scado, I go to my Lily, I go to my wife. She will see. Yeah. Minister, I'll go to the boys, Shoni and Lemo.
As we remain disciplined, thank you very much. At this moment, I'd like to call the House to order. Ushers, please close the doors. Ushers, please close the doors. Ushers, please close the doors. Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, may I call the district director one more time? Because while we are here today, it is evident that in 2022, we had also lost
their lives in the course crisscrossing the breadth and length of Motheo Education District, teaching, supporting our learners. We pay tribute to them. Thank you very much. We'll ask the MEC symbolically to light their candle, and then thereafter we'll ask the minister to just ID. Yes, their lives, we started with their lives. We started with them at the beginning of last year. They worked very hard. They gave us these results. They supported every learner. But by the end of the year, Minister, symbolically, that light was stuffed. And then we'll ask our minister, thank you very much. Can we give the MEC a big round? Thank you very much, Program Director.
Thank you so much to the District Director, Ntatamuloi. At this moment, a musical item from one of our own, Kaya.
Zatibanisizwe Gothando noxolo shintu kwekhaya Zatibanisizwe Zatibanisizwe Wosa
Khotso pula na labua
Bayesa Sebeninga phesheya Oh bayesa amaqhawe esizwe bayesa sebemi ngaphesheya oh bayesa amaqhawe esizwe said I wanna be there I wanna be there I wanna be there I wanna be there I said I wanna be there I wanna be there I wanna be there Wosa bayesa sebemi ngaphesheya oh bayesa amaqhawe esizwe awu hey kwathi banisizwe sathi banisizwe ngothando noxolo shinthu kwekhaya awu hey kwathi banisizwe sathi banisizwe ngothando noxolo uyathimba nawe.
We have waited for a while now.
What?
To see nations come together as one. Masibambaneni,
Harekopane,
sihlangane,
harekopane.
sibe moyo munye.
What's up?
Ngoba umuntu ngabantu.
One people under one God.
Woo!
It's been a hell of a journey. So
Yes, we come for.
one thing I know for sure is that
Everybody had to fight.
I know I got resistance. I don't have to sleep like an
Woo!
Mas beg logo do family. Says get like a polo D. If you are more to color, then say beg economy.
Yeah.
To me it's very simple. For every boy and girl.
What's
Yeah, and it's only one.
bayesa
Sebemi ngaphesheya oh bayesa amaqhawe esizwe bayesa sebemi ngaphesheya oh bayesa amaqhawe esizwe
said I wanna be there
sharing the same dream but we don't understand each other. We were born on the same
said I
game.
wanna be there
And used to find out celebrate. So many countries.
I wanna be there
So many languages, many people.
wanna be there.
Brothers, sisters, stay united. Keep up with the love in love.
said I wanna be there bayesa sebemi ngaphesheya oh bayesa amaqhawe esizwe said I wanna be there I wanna be there I wanna be there wosa
I wanna be.
bayesa sebemi ngaphesheya oh bayesa amaqhawe esizwe
one more time come on
bayesa sebemi ngaphesheya oh bayesa amaqhawe esizwe.
thank you
Thank you so much. Thank you, ladies and gents. Thank you to Kaya, one of our own indeed. But at this time, ladies and gents, may I request that we all settle. Ushers, kindly do your job. May I request that we all settle. Thank you. May I request that we all settle? Thank you so much. All right. May I call on the Chief Director? Ladies and gents,
In the circles of education, who is leading all of us to do the right things, who marshaled us to adopt the strategic intent of raising the bar, closing the gaps, and supporting learners in all the grades. The MEC, who has been in education and making that education, especially in the Free State, is regarded as the top performing province. And the only department that is performing in the Free State, and those are the words that were said by the national chairperson of the African National Congress, that in the Free State, there's only department that is doing well, and that is education. So ladies and gentlemen, let us put our hands together and welcome Dr. Pule Isaac. Herbert Mahwe, simply the best.
Nexabatlo Jaiva. Gatseba Listo to place a competition. Sheberke Matsibango Jaiva, Alin Nali, that is district director yellow. So Gibunansa is a Maholampita Monagara. Hangara Kilo Jaiva Kilo Munsa Taulo, and Nekisel Kiana celebrate Fondo, so Skasiata was about. Thank you very much, Program Director. Baruti Baka Valentin, Kalebu Akaufela, Me NCHU, our leader in education, our leader in the country, our leader in transformation of education, your DBE staff that is here with you, the representative from the royal family. I've also realized that there is also other district leadership, district directors. Thank you very much for attending. Minister, it seems that we are competing, but we are not. When we are together, we work and we share ideas. The only thing that differentiates us, who implements the best, is who implements the best. But they visit each other, all the districts. If I go to one district, sometimes that's why they don't want to invite me. If I go to one district and I see a good thing happening, I go and tell other district directors, hey, the Juliputa is doing this and stuff like that. But we've seen over the years that has actually improved all of us. And this is not for our benefit. This is to the benefit of our children, the benefit of our path to work on changing our own education system. I was reading an article yesterday. They were saying, in America, for an example, They don't wear uniforms. You don't see the workers who are working at Fort and so on. They don't wear uniform. And they trace that to say the reason why they are not comfortable with uniform is because even in their schools, they don't wear uniform. So you can see that schools don't only impact on the matric results or outcomes, but schools impact on society. And Minister, I've been asked to ask you that you see this thing of releasing the results too late is really killing the mood. Maybe we need to release them maybe just after January 8 or something. So that, because you know, you were after New Year, after Christmas, you were the one who was calling all of us to order and say, this is the time to go back and work hard. So if it is possible, it is something that we need to relook at. Let me also recognize the CESs that are here, the circuit managers, subject advisors. I'm sure the program director did indicate that our HOD did apologize. He's got a family issue that he's attending to in Johannesburg. Tate Samuel Mokhobo. I don't know why you are the only one who remembers the name of Isaac. Our principals and the leadership of the schools, our unions, formations, SATU, NAP, NAPTOSA, PEU, and others, our teachers who are here, thank you very much. We are what we are today because of our teachers. The SGB Council and all the members of the SGBs. Minister, we were at a school yesterday where one of the SGB chairpersons said, I am going to that function. Otherwise, I don't allow you, principal, to go there alone. I must also be there. And I'm sure he's here. So it shows how important. And thank to the district for inviting, and I'm sure it's now happening in all the districts, for inviting the principals of primary schools. Because you are the ones who set this foundation, and we cannot celebrate the house. Free State look great. You know, you go anywhere now. You go into Gauteng, people are no more afraid to say, I'm from the Free State, because of the Department of Education. So you have done very well. There are people who go out now and say, hey, did you know I also come from Free State? I come from Tukanamakauta. Yeah, I come from Comtech. But over the years, when the results were not good, they were coming from Soweto, Atteridgeville, and so on. So you have brought people's confidence. Give yourself a round of applause. And let me also just join the Demoloi for really thanking the district for being the top district. It has not been easy. And I understood what you meant at Demoloi when you said that. Because there was a time when you were celebrating, you were number 5 at that time, you were the last district. And one of your own team members, you know there's always negative people in the team. You must always accept that. They will always be there. Don't rule them out. They are there to give you impetus to succeed. And I remember one of these persons said, and she says, why do we come here to celebrate number 5? But wherever she is now, or he is, he or she must be very happy that now we are celebrating number 1. So congratulations to Team Motheo, grade 1. We checked the results. The minister's giving me one more information yesterday that showed me that we are not doing well, especially in the 0 to 5, the ECD phase. Only 32% of our learners are ready for school. Agree me? So we need to change that. But one thing I know about the Free State is that we are not afraid of problems. Once we know what the problem is, we can design strategies to resolve it. And I've got no doubt in my mind that THABA and the CESs are going to work together to ensure that those ECD centers are no more eat and slap, but they are centers of stimulating. Convinced that once we start this program again, it has given me a job to do in the next few months that will still be in the... also for, trying some of the suggestions that we come up with. Because we can come up with suggestions. It is you who implements them on the ground. And I know what we have done in Botshabelo. Botshabelo became our focal point minister because we thought that there's no way that we can spend more time in schools that are doing well. Your old Ranger Macy School, UNICE, and everybody, they're doing well. So why do we spend more time here? We must spend more time in areas that are difficult. And this has produced results. Because, I was watching the results yesterday. You didn't actually capture it. For the first time, since I've been MEC, and I've been MEC for almost 13 years, for the first time, Botshabelo, that area with huge socio-economic challenges, produced 6 learners in the top 100. 6 learners out of 13 schools. So it really shows that if we can give our learners support, they will show us flames. And I'm very, very impressed. I was speaking to Thabang here, that many of our learners from Botshabelo, because Thabang and myself, Minister, we've got a bias to engineering. And I'm still convinced that we need more engineers as a developing country. We've been able to recruit from Botshabelo alone 68 learners who are studying engineering. 32 of them are studying at the University of Cape Town from the class of 2022. And the rest they are in CPUT, right? Cape Peninsula Institute of Technology, something like that. They are all studying engineering. And I really want to thank him because, you see, he reminds me before around 1994, when we came to be members of parliament. I don't know, somebody put this thing of a ladder, poster with a ladder, and somebody going up the ladder. And he says, when you reach the top, don't kick the ladder, because you may need it when you come down. So I want to thank you, Thabang, because you don't want to succeed alone. You understand that success is a collective effort. Just like Charlotte McCracken also said, once you succeed, pull somebody else with you. I'm happy that you were able to pull about 68 learners from Botshabelo who are now staying at the University of CPUT and the University of Cape Town. I will be visiting them just to go and show them, because we also need to tell our children that university is not easy. And I'm happy that the class of 2022 is here. We must tell them the truth, that it is not easy. There may be subjects that are easy, but others are very difficult. If you are going to study medicine, it means you're not going to have weekends. You have to study every day. If you're going to study that maths, you must be able to know maths. Practice that maths again. You have to practice every day. And then we must also be able to tell our children that at university, you're not going to get this soft professor who loves you. You are 100 in a chemistry class, and then he's not interested, or she's not interested in liking one child over the other. She just comes in there and says, chapter 1, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, chapter 6, you'll read for yourself. I'm starting from chapter 7. But when the assessment comes, it covers those areas. So it's very, very important to instill in our children the will to fight, the will to succeed, the will to work hard, because that's exactly what you need when you are at the university. Especially those of us who come from good schools. They may come from Orange Mesa School, they may come from Unisi, and they think, no, we don't have to work hard. We are ready. We are in for a surprise. You must get used to working hard. Otherwise, you'll have the problems of anxiety, depression, and stuff like that. And we produce you from this province. We don't want you to suffer from those kind of things. We want you to come back and change our country for the better. Because that's what education is about. Education is not only about metric results. Education is about changing our country for the better. And that's why you'll see that even all our leaders, political leaders, business leaders, all of them, they value education. So it says to all of us that teachers are the most important professionals that we have in our country. And I want to thank Nadamloy again, Team Motheo, for making education a societal issue. You know, Minister, when we announced the results, we had to share ourselves because now churches want us to come and report. In every church, we have to go to Mangaung, and I have to stand up there and explain what the results are, and so on, and so on, and so on, and so on. So they went to one other church last week, and I had to go to Wesleyan Church. And then I had to stand up there and report to the church. And in that church, there were more than 500 people just came to listen to the results of education. And that is why we are confidently saying now education is a societal issue. Minister, let me not talk too much about this, and then because you are the one who must say more. So I want to present Minister to you, Minister Motheo. All of us by now know her. She's an education activist. She knows what it is to call parents to come into a meeting to discuss the results of the learners, and the parents don't turn up. She knows what it is when the learner does well. Ufutise malume is like malume, is like uncle, and so on and so on. When the learner does bad, it is these teachers who are not teaching them. So she knows that education is a thankless job. And that is why, Minister, I love National Teaching Awards. Because it's an opportunity for us to say thank you to our teachers, because sometimes this job becomes thankless. I'm sure by now we know that she's the longest-serving Minister of Education and the longest-serving minister, one of the longest-serving ministers. And she has been very, very brave, very confident. And then that is why when we had challenges of what was interpreted as OBE, misinterpreted, she came in and she changed education to what it is today. Can you all stand up and give her a round of applause as we call the minister to the stage?
Program Director, Eric Kaleka Libisa Trompo, the Wiko Beto who Sebeti Moho Lindang Tatate, Kidibisa Trompo, who get a pili kiboni ya district yet la pili, Kinta Temloi. Kidibisa Trompo who so also the Secretariat also want to assume that there are also unions that are here. Ke dumedise baruti ba teng mo. Also give my respect to the principals that are here and the teachers that are here and to all the guests that are here. I always say I left teaching to be principal, so I really respect principals. They are my seniors because I left education as a teacher, not as any senior official. So let me give also my respect to all the teachers, the principals, and all the guests of the day, and the protocol as it was established, media, and all the people that are here. So I also was told that the top learners, because they're the ones who have really made us proud and were also humbled by their pursuits. Before I even get into let me answer the late release of results, then I can, because I don't want to forget the point you raised. Because lots of people have raised it. There were people who kept on phoning me to say, can't the results see this one? And if you recall, since 2020, we've released results late because we have pushed the year's calendar. So the exams are later, so which means the marking is later. So, and that just influences when we release results. So which means even for some time I think for years to come, we'll still have to release them later because we're trying to catch up on lost time during COVID by extending the calendar and pushing the year later. You'll be getting circulars. We're also trying to add also hours of teaching in your basic, without extending the day, to have hours of teaching, because we were aware that since COVID, we have not recovered lost ground. So that's the reason why we release are late. And I agree with you, lots of people are anxious, even members of parliament, we really, no one or an accounting issue. So I thought I should raise that one. But I really have to really say and join you, MEC. For me, it is indeed a distinct honor and privilege to be here today. To a district well-done function, to celebrate the top district. As you correct, the top district, I mean, there's 75 of them. And I can tell you they work hard. They work hard. It's one of the levels, and I'm really proud about the education system because the provinces normally give the best. It's not the most senior in the system, but they normally give the best to districts. So you have the best of your people there. In Gauteng, I know you can't be, it's a big thing. Maybe it's big because we have the whole how it's big also in that sense, but it's one of the best levels and districts give the best. And to be the best amongst the best, it's a big thing, it's not a small thing. And that's what I think that Temoloi rightfully was dancing. He's really the best amongst the best, not just the best district. So I really want to congratulate you. So I couldn't resist coming to congratulate Motheo district. As you correctly say, I've had an opportunity of coming to this district and can attest to the hard work, but also the attitude of people in this district. The humility, the hard work. You know, even when we came during COVID, sometimes I used to even get soda you know, when you go to a place to visit, you're normally given the best. I can't tell you one of the programs how we are responding to COVID, but it's still well to your district. When I say I'm monitoring the following, it could easily take me up to nearer districts. If I crossed the Val, it's less than an hour from home. He could have taken me, but we come here because I think he knows he's got his jewel, who really pursues or tries the best. And I really want to congratulate you and thank you most sincerely, Tatemoloi and your team, for really being the best amongst the best. But I must also congratulate my colleague, Dr. Tate. I want to congratulate you, MEC, your HOD, for the job well done. You're quite right that you are raising the bar. You know, we have reached a stage where even in the governing party, when they ask me, how's the ranking after Free State? It's really obvious into it. You know, and it's not easy to be there. I mean, I was an MC, it's not easy to be there. So it means also a lot to be a top province in the country, consistently for 7 years. It's also a big feat. So indeed, today we celebrate Motheo district as a top performing district in the country. I want to congratulate the district director, your circuit managers, your principals, everyone who contributed to this success. Because true, we can say we're the best even that they take. I tell people I've not seen like announced done, which would have produced results. It's teachers and principals that we are humbly representing teachers have produced. And for that, we're eternally grateful because indeed it's your work that we are celebrating. It's your sacrifices that we are celebrating. We know that you are tireless and selfless in your efforts to improve the basic education system. And this district is now leading the country in matric results, not just in the province, as we said. And this achievement is not just a cause for celebration in the Free State, but a shining example for the entire nation. So the dedication and perseverance of our teachers here serves as an inspiration to all of us. That's why I'm really humbled to be standing in front of you, and we wish to congratulate you for the outstanding accomplishments. So to the Motheo learners, again, your courage and determination in the face of so many challenges. I mean, Free State, it's not like one of your best, highly endowed province. Yes, it's located in the middle, but to really beat provinces that have high number of resources, it's not a feat. Because in some provinces, we just know also that the figures are raised by your well-resourced schools. The majority of your well-resourced schools are in Gauteng and in the Western Cape and partly in KZN. But really to come from the back with fewer well-resourced schools or rich schools like we have in other areas and still be the best, it really is a cause for celebration also for the province. And you perform this in a very difficult and criminality. High levels of depression also coming from COVID-19 and poverty. And still in that context, just be the best that you could be. And I really say it is a cause for celebration. I want to acknowledge the unsung heroes and heroines. You're quite right, the parents, the caregivers and SGB members who have supported the education managers and learners in their journey to the top of Mount Sinai. Or also feel you still okay. Congratulate them for scientifically analyzing our results. Think hearsay. To say at grade 9 we have a hump, what causes the hump? At grade 4 we have a hump, what causes the hump and how do we deal with it? And amongst other things that I have in the data I want us to also explore, it's the impact of language of education, teaching language in our schools. As an African continent, for all our sins, we're one of those few continents that study in a language none than our own. I get it. So I think we have to also debate and analyze that because Eastern Cape, interesting analysis. I think we'll have to talk about it again when we're in the district managers. They ran a pilot for 12 years. of teaching ka Sesotho le ka Xhosa. And that's why I'm attracting you, because at least there's a ground which they have started ka Sesotho. They were able to prove that, I like the analysis on an ongoing basis, to say if what more do we need to understand to get there and do it systematically and scientifically, so that we don't really work on hearsay. So I was very impressed. So indeed, your dedication to academic excellence, because that's dedication to academic excellence, which we do systematically, but also the unpaid hours that our teachers put in and offering first-rate support to all learners will not go unnoticed. Somebody in Parliament was asking me, it's even recently, your support Saturday classes. No, I don't have computer, tutor. You bring extra support even for your kids' galabe. So, the tutors are mahala these Saturdays, this Sunday. And I really wish to thank our teachers for that extra mile that they are going, because affluent families are able to buy their children programs, they're able to take them to extra classes, they're able to have tutors to support them. And what our teachers are doing at the weekends, it's exactly compensating for that. But sometimes the school can't do everything. You need extra help outside. So again, to our teachers, I really want to thank you for just going that extra mile. So today we really honor all our stakeholders involved in the basic education ecosystem, particularly in this district of winners, who put in the work for no extra pay. I'm really humbled sometimes to say our managers. Minister, why don't you bring people in the private sector to come and get, to come and help you run education? I mean, they really can't match some of our managers. Well, they bring people in the private sector. If you come into the sector, you will know. I mean, I had a meeting with that Sizwe Nxasani, who's been a very top senior executive for big companies or telecom, FNB. He was saying he wants to admit for the first time in his life that it's tough. Education is tough. He says it's tougher than anything he's done also in the corporate world. And to achieve what Motheo have achieved, it's big. We shouldn't take it's big, and we sometimes underplayed because we don't understand, we don't compare it to other things that are happening elsewhere. What we've achieved at the employee and your team is big. To be a top district like Motheo with a pass rate of 90.8% in the country, it really sheer guts and bravery. When we release results again, but one puts or one of the private school, 10,000. Because here we're dealing with a public system, we're not even creaming kids, we take them as they come. And we have to deal with them. So it's a big system, and again, as I say, success in the system is big. I mean, I was saying to this critic, if you look at what sometimes this, by 11,000, a small district to Ugu, with all the resources you have. Because they are in the 90s in a public system. It's big again. So again, I want to congratulate you. The edge that puts this district ahead of its peers, the sheer magnitude of your greatness, and the marvelous commitment to academic excellence, truly no one can fathom. So yeah, marvelous. Marvelous. So you have written your names in bright ink in the history of books, in the history books. Posterity will commend your academic finesse one day, and they will tell your mighty acts in the service of our homeland. So that success isn't for the Emmys and the premier only, but victory belongs to the toiling masses of our people, the working class poor, who sacrifice their last penny to support their children to do well. And the beauty of this province political leadership is that you understand basic education very well. You understand that each learner needs qualifying races such as a solid ECD learning and primary education to succeed. And I'm very glad that you are committing also yourself to ECD. Because as we correctly say, and which I always said to colleagues, things start where they start or they end if they don't start well. Also, as a language teacher, I always say, how ka ba dilemong tse itseng o so bue puo eo o ka se tlhole o e bua hantle kere o tla utlwa fela motho a se Mosotho a se tsebe Sesotho hobane o qadile o se bua ka mora nako e itseng. Ha o ka ya sekolong bosiu ka dikerese wa se ka ngola motshehare le ha se o rutile di-professor wa bona hore o qadile lata sekolo o badile empa o fihlile after school a iketsetsa ka wena mo a iketsetsang teng. Ho bolelang hore if you don't start it right, you'll never get it right. This one was I always Esther knows this one. When my kids were growing up, we're in the professor, but Harry 7 or 11. His English is suspect. I can always walk as I say, ECD. So, cross I can't do Motheo. You'll never get it right anywhere, anytime. Professor there's something suspect, man. And because they were going private schools, they were not very comfortable with said homework. This was open to education. And the point I'm making is that that's the fundamental value of ECD. We have to get it right if our kids' success have to be sustainable. The size or the quality of your foundation determines the quality of your structure. Foundation your height, it depends on your foundation. So if the foundation is not solid from the early childhood development level, then we are in trouble. So I was with the director, it's not going to be easy. It's a landmine. No, but I told those ECD practitioners, if Namsevitz waka, it can't be our interest. Our interest in education is to fundamentally change that sector, and we'll have to work together to say which direction and how. We have to change the quality, and I did tell them that we have principles guiding us in education. Access is a major thing to us. No child must be left behind. And from the reports we have in ECD, is that we are only, all these creches, more than 42,000 of them, they are only catering for 1.6 million children. Whereas South Africa says there are about 7.6 million children, 7.2 million children who are supposed to be catered for. So access is a big issue. And as Dr. Tate was saying also, the reports that we have done also in preparation for the function shift was that almost 65% of our children arrive at school not school ready. So your primary school, but I can't say basically, so you're just your physical skills, which take time to teaching, whereas those are the things they should have been stimulated on whilst they're still young. Or class. So indeed, number one, So we also do know that each learner develops according to their ability, which will show results as bachelors and passes. Indeed, as former US President Barack Obama once opined, he said, the future belongs to young people with an education and the imagination to create a better life for all. That's where the future is. And I agree with MEC to say, for me, the holy grain education. You can study all developing countries in the world now in the past 50 years. When ask Malaysia, when ask South Korea, what has made them to break through? So there's no slavery. America, they managed to succeed because they could come and plunder people's things and build their economy. So you can't plunder anymore. All those that succeed, they succeeded because of education. You ask Malaysia, what was your breakthrough? They say education. You ask South Korea, they say it's education. So if we are to break away from some of our difficulties, which I've mentioned, of unemployment, underdevelopment, poverty, education is the key. And hence we highly respect people who are involved in this. So truth be told, and I think that's why everybody was excited with the results. But let alone what Ntate is saying, it's amazing how South Africans value education. It even lifts the national mood. When we announce the results, people just don't only look out of curiosity. It's a good feel for the nation, its morale, its emotional state. It's such a good feel. And the work that you do, as I say, goes even beyond the kids who are passing. It's for the national psyche. There's unemployment, but so it gives us so much hope and gives us all the reason to celebrate. And for that, we're eternally grateful to all the people who are working here. So I really believe that occupying a top is an event worthy of celebration. So as the Minister of Basic Education and on behalf of government, I'm proud of this province's hard work. You are worthy to be praised. Number one fellow, you really are. You are an inspiration to all of us. And the success of the Free State class of 2022, it has enabled our fragile nation to focus on core and offered, even if momentarily, a reprieve from the daily toll of our stagnant economy, high unemployment, the rising cost of living, and now load shedding. Today, we say cheers to the 2022 Motheo district learners who have excelled against all odds, having spent 2.5 years under the cloud of COVID-19 pandemic. We again want to pay homage to the district director, circuit managers, principals, and teachers. Interestingly, this cohort of high achievers lived in the same country, attended the same schools, walked the same malls, and battled the same virus with the other learners. But you have distinguished yourselves in conduct, magnificent academic performance, and triumph over insurmountable odds. In other words, we have a more robust fighting spirit than your peers. As I said, you're unacquainted with the concept of failure. You say you want to be the best that you can be in every area. And for that, I really want to congratulate you and thank you. And that's why they say success attracts success. So produce good results, have the best school nutrition. It really shows also that what you are saying is true, that you live by your motto of saying you want to be the best you can be in everything that you can. So your superb academic performance assures that the future of this district, but of this nation, is in right hands of shining, intelligent, and agile minds ready to fight to defend the virtues of academic rigor and diligence. You represent through your academic accolades what it means to be a dutiful citizen, committed to the realization of a dream of a prosperous homeland and values of consciousness over sloth. To paraphrase the old adage, you didn't ask what this district can do for you. Instead, you brought honor to its prestige, to your schools, and warm and fuzzy feelings to your families and caregivers. And indeed, you are brave, bright, and the light to this nation, as I say, gripped by a number of difficulties that I've mentioned: unemployment, poverty, underdevelopment, and really to even give us a chance to celebrate. I must say, we will have to thank you. Just to just really talk about positive, and thank you very much for also that, for that. As I said, we have set the bar very high for future generations. I mean, 90% in a public system is not easy. It means a lot. So we applaud you for putting the virtues of diligence, for staying the course, and want to wish you even more accomplishments in the future. From this cohort, we can say we expect to see more, and I'm glad also that our young people are also biting and say wherever they are, support young